Amy and I thought, we're back again. Amy and I thought that we should just put out what's happening with Trump. So this is what the BBC are promoting. Trump is still refusing to admit defeat as shown. Let's go over here and start going through this. It says, Donald Trump says he should have won the US presidential election and refuses to admit that he has lost to Biden. It's more than a week since American adults voted, and although the results have come in later than normal because of the time it's taken to count the postal votes, Democratic Party candidate Joe Biden has declared the winner. What did Nigel, I don't think you've listened to it, but on the great mortgage fraud, Nigel said that no one is going to ever, because the voting system, there's something wrong with it. And it's created so much, he didn't even think there'd be another president. That's what he thought.
Right.
Who's going to believe the voting system again after what it's done?
Oh, I know.
And Amy, we put that video out that they used a dog security number, gave a vote, but then the dog voted. I want to know who voted on the dog's behalf.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Me too.
It says, however, Donald Trump says there has been election fraud and that the result was stolen. Well, that's true, but he's not the people's person. He's a liar as well. No evidence has been given to back up his claim. What are they on about? They're recounting everything. And what did you say?
Yeah, they're supposed to be recounting.
You said that he'd won states back, didn't you?
Yeah, that's the last thing I saw, that as they were doing the recounts, that he was gaining more votes, and, I think Biden's were going down and his were going up. The last I saw somewhere.
Mr. Trump has promised legal challenges in several states where Mr. Biden has won or is narrowly winning with votes still being counted. He has tweeted, "We will win," but has only been seen a couple of times since the election was called by Joe Biden's favour. So where has Donald Trump been? On Saturday, November the 7th, it was projected that Joe Biden would win the election. Donald Trump has spoken publicly since. For the most part, the president has either stayed in the White House or travelled 25 miles to visit his golf club, Trump National in Sterling, Virginia. So, we've got this great big thing going on where there's voter fraud and he goes to play golf. Do you know what? They did that with Bush because they were frightened every time he opened his mouth because he never said the right thing. They just sent him packing off to play golf. But I mean, he should be standing up and talking still. He's still technically the president, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly, he is. He's still the president right now. Yes, absolutely.
What's he doing playing golf?
I know,
you Americans are so important, he's gone to play golf.
I know, I did hear him say that, forget where I heard it, he said, well, I need to play golf, something like, he didn't say because of the stress, but sort of like, I've been through a lot, so I deserve to be able to go and play golf. I can't remember where. So
we've got Boris running away, and we've got Trump running away. What great leaders they are.
Oh, I know.
They do all this to us, and they run away. But anyway, the president did make a public appearance at a ceremony marking Veterans Day, the US version of Remembrance Day on Wednesday. Mr. Trump visited Arlington National Cemetery near to the capital, Washington, D.C., where he saluted during the American national anthem and placed his hand on a wreath while he prayed. President-elect Joe Biden paid his respects at the Korean War Memorial in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So then it says, what has been happening since the election result? Trump has taken to Twitter to talk about his views on the election. However, his critics say he's ignoring the most important issues America is facing, such as virus and the impact that it has on the US economy. Yes!
Right.
Where's Boris? We should be talking about the economy. What are they doing?
Well, Boris is self-isolating. Trump is playing golf.
Great. There are also other recent issues, such as a tropical storm causing flooding in Florida, as well as a helicopter crash involving US members in Egypt. They say that not tackling these problems, he is not doing his job of the president properly, a role he has until the new year. It seems clear Trump has checked out, said Norman Ornstein, a political expert quoted in the Washington Post. Yeah, and Boris is doing the same. They put us in this mess and they're opting out somewhere.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I think the Queen did that as well. Instead of, she should have stayed in Buckingham Palace and been the Queen. No, she's run off as well.
That's right.
And it says that she's not resigning, and she's going to be, she's going to stay as the Queen. So, yeah, be the Queen then. Well, we all know it's all fake anyway, but anyway. Just as promised, Trump is fighting hard for a free and fair election, while at the same time carrying out all his duties to put America first, he said. Really? Donald Trump's team start legal challenges in the US states over vote counting and results. The president has repeatedly claimed that he has a mountain of corruption and dishonesty, and that people will not accept this rigged election. Then there's a tweet from him saying, and look at that, it's got 164 tweets, okay, and 84,000 tweets. I think that's for no. 1 million likes.
Wow.
It says what Donald Trump said about the election fraud. Mr. Trump and his team say some postal votes should be recounted. Donald Trump has claimed that votes posted arriving after Election Day should be included in the count. He says that the American voted in person and were also able to do a vote, meaning they voted twice. What? Americans voted in person and were also allowed to do a poster vote, meaning they voted twice. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was a big problem. My daughter was an election judge, and that got very messed up. It was hard to correct, Jill. So that could be true, because people did mail-ins, and then they weren't able to record it, and then they could still go and vote. It was a mess. So I think our state tried to get it straightened out pretty well, but who knows other places, so yes.
He also says that the observers from his own party who watched the votes being counted to make sure it's being done properly were not allowed to do so, but there is no strong evidence to prove that these claims are true. Oh my God. It is true. It's all true. It was rigged.
Right.
The president tweeted on Wednesday, nobody wants to report that Pennsylvania and Michigan didn't allow our poll watchers and or voters to watch or observe. This is responsible for hundreds of thousands of votes that should not be allowed to count. Therefore, I easily win both states. Twitter marked the tweet notifying that Trump's claim about the election fraud is disputed. There's a video there anyway, we'll look at that in a minute. The Trump campaign will now try and have some postal votes discounted by arguing their case in the state courts. But I mean, dogs can't vote, so there's a vote they've got to take off.
Right.
Which disputes possibly ending up in the High Court, the US Supreme Court. Even if that happens, legal experts say Trump's team is unlikely to be successful in changing the results. Wow. Dearie me. There are also expected to be recounts of votes in some states asked for by the Trump campaign, but it's not expected to change the outcome of the election. They're bidoning their time. Well, it's true, isn't it? What's that? A television screen showing Joe Biden is seen through a window near the entrance to the West Wing at the White House. Whatever.
Well.
I bet that's a lie. I bet they made that picture up, that the White House are watching Joe Biden winning the election. So it says, so what now? It's traditional for the outgoing president to call the president-elect, while other world leaders have called to congratulate Joe Biden. President Trump has not spoken to his rival since, because he believes he should not have won the election. But despite Donald Trump disagreeing with the election results, it's unlikely to delay things. Unlike general elections in Britain, there's always what are we having? Unlike general elections in Britain, right? Okay. There's always a longer wait for a new president to move into the White House and take over. First votes need to be certified in each 50 states. That's normal and will happen over the next few weeks. By January, the US Congress will receive and approve the results. The winner of the US presidential election starts the job at noon on the 20th of January. It happens at a ceremony called the inauguration, which takes place in the capital, Washington, D.C. Well, we already know that they won't be there for that. It's already pre-recorded for us. Whoever's won, it's all pre-recorded and they won't be there. It's some virtual reality video. It's true, isn't it, Amy?
Right. That's true, yes.
They filmed it months ago, like Little Boris in 10 Downing Street with that 50-foot reporter. The new president and vice president take an oath of office administered by Supreme Court Chief Justice. And then it goes, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be inaugurated as president and vice president on the 20th of January 2021. Normally the outgoing president attends the ceremony. And then it goes on and on and on and on and on again, you know, it just goes on and on. So what's your thoughts then, Amy?
Oh, I just think it's all just so bizarre. And far as I know, I haven't heard Trump even address the nation. I've seen tweets and I've seen statements put out, but I would think he could address the nation and say what's going on. Like, it's just, I'm very confused about the whole thing, because they're calling Biden president-elect, and I have only heard the media so far be the ones to say he won, and I just haven't heard Trump be that outspoken as far as making any kind of speech to say what he's doing or anything. It's worse than the Gore-Bush election. They were a little bit more outspoken when Gore kept disputing that Bush had won. They covered it more. It's really weird. It's like, where is Donald Trump really? Where is Boris Johnson really? Where are all of them?
Do you know what? The comments on here, Trump needs to get a life. Trump is trying to fake that the votes are not being counted correctly because he has no proof. So none of them are going with Trump, and there's loads more there.
Yeah. He's either loved or hated in this
one
country.
says, grow up, Trump. He's such a baby. Grow up, Trump. Another one. That is just weird. It goes on and on. I find this hilarious. That you can't put any more comments in.
Well, yeah, it's been very strange. He's been hated or loved, and my sister, she has never ever been into politics, and she said she don't understand why people had to hate him so much. Maybe he wasn't the most well-spoken or whatever, but she didn't see where he was like.
Well, I think it's because they spent months and months trying to impeach him. It makes him look like he's a bad president, but they don't realise that was just part of the game.
Sure, exactly.
We had Hillary, is that, you know, when it first started, they got a military person out, didn't they? And that was Hillary. Do you remember I did a video on it?
And, yes. With Hillary, yes.
1 second, Amy.
And, you know,
carry on. Yeah, you finish. You finish.
People just hated him where I live from the day he was elected. They wanted him out. That's how much they hated him. They wanted.
But that's not what it looks like in the papers. Like when they looked at Joe Biden's tweets, he had hardly any. Well, he had a lot less tweets. Trump had millions of. Like he was. It's like everything they said is wrong. It's the wrong way round. It should be what this says. Trump should be president, but we know what it's all about, so it's rubbish. But anyway, 1 second.
Right.
There's been lots of conversation online about this year's US election. Before the vote, conspiracy theories were already going viral. Baseless suggestions that President Trump never really had coronavirus, and unsubstantiated claims accusing candidates of really horrible crimes. But now the online conversation has exploded. We're seeing rumour overload. If you look at Donald Trump's Twitter page, you'll see most of his posts are covered with warning stickers. Twitter has labelled claims Trump has made about the Democrats cheating in this election as misleading, and he has provided no evidence for those suggestions. It's caught a lot of people's attention, including Greta Thunberg's. She used an old tweet Trump had directed at her to poke fun at him on social media. So ridiculous. Donald must work on his anger management problem, then go to a good old-fashioned movie with a friend. Chill, Donald, chill. It's also caught the attention of lots of Trump supporters, and false or unproven claims about rigged elections have been the big topic of online conversation. There are videos that wrongly claim the ballots of Trump supporters were set on fire, or untrue conspiracies that Trump supporters were asked to use certain pens, Sharpies, to fill in their ballot papers so they could not be counted. The big worry is that these rumours could lead to protests and violence, or lots of people deciding to reject the result of this election. Both Democrat supporters and Republican ones have been guilty of spreading conspiracies and fake news online in the build-up to this election. But, especially in the days after the vote, supporters of President Trump have been doing it a lot more than their rivals. With lots of people feeling angry, passionate and frustrated on social media, it's not surprising that these rumours are catching on like wildfire. But it's a reminder to always think about how a post makes you feel online, ask yourself where it's come from, and pause before you share.
What I was saying was, me and Amy already recorded it and realised that for some reason it didn't go on. But anyway, so the BBC is saying one thing, and then that woman's message is something completely different.
Right, because they're saying saying that there was some kind of voter fraud, or the votes weren't counted properly, and then they're trying to sound like there's no proof that there was any voter fraud. But how can they know that without checking it out? It's got to be looked into. And I mean, with the Bush-Gore election, they kept checking it and counting the votes in Florida.
But they made sure that Bush won, didn't they? By a really, really small majority.
Yeah, but then the case was, too, that Bush was the Republican, Gore was the Democrat, and Gore was the one that kept saying he had to have these votes recounted, even after the state of Florida certified it and said Bush has won, we're satisfied that he won the state of Florida, therefore he would be the president. Oh no, the press kept it going for another 3-4 weeks.
So who's running it then? The press?
Yeah, exactly. You see, it seemed like it. I mean, obviously it was Gore that kept contesting it.
Because that's the really strange thing about this election, Amy, is the fact that, you know, in reality, they told you that you wouldn't know the result, or well, we still haven't got the result, but you wouldn't know it till the week afterwards. And yet they put him in as president. The press did.
Yeah, and my thing is, even though we don't want to support left or right paradigm or whatever, they do favor the Democrat over the Republican, because when Gore wouldn't submit or wouldn't concede, they kept on doing the recounts, and it was getting really frustrating. Whereas Trump is the Republican, Biden's the Democrat, so they're not fussing about it at all. They're just going to go with what they have and not make sure it's correct, and just let Biden be the one.
And again, Amy, did you vote in this election?
No.
If you are awake at all, you cannot vote for them and their system. They're the ones doing it to us. It's all a bit bizarre. You know, it felt like when Trump was talking a few months ago and he was going, no, those contracts are not going to the UK, we're going to have them. It's like they're vying for something, but if you're awake, you don't vote. I know it's a bit of a cop-out to some people, but how can you vote for this? You can't. I can't. I'm not voting again.
That's right. That's right. Because it's like what we said,
please,
a pile of
because
tricks.
There's something wrong with that Camilla, isn't there? She's not a female, you know. I'm sorry.
Right.
So, you know, but they all work for the same person. So what are they doing? Are they just vying for time? Like, Boris is going off for 2 weeks. Trump's not around. They're not dealing with the economies. they've put all this on us and then they've run away.
Yes, so it sounds like.
Amy, anything else you want to say?
Oh, just think it's disgraceful. This whole year has been a disgrace.
It has. It's been
Everything
an
that's been
absolute
done.
embarrassment.
Yes.
I think they all need to be arrested. Anybody that went into this, wanted it, sided with the whole lot, they all need to be. That's what needs to happen to them in every country.
I agree.
Anyway, that's me and Amy signing out.
Yes.
Thank you, lovely Amy.
Oh, you're welcome, lovely Karen.
Me and Amy, we all talk to each other like this. We want to keep it all nice and we love each other, don't we, Amy?
That's right, Karen, we do. Exactly.
And that's where everybody else should be. And, yeah. Anyway, we'll see what happens, for the public, in the press. Oh, very quickly, I went to a shop today, and even though I'm not wearing a mask, I feel like this. I'm looking at everybody, and everybody's looking at me. There's the virus, it's her, she's not got a mask on. It's just awful.
Oh, it is.
Whereas it's all the people wearing the mask, all frightened, stay away from her. Why are they at the shop then?
If I was that afraid, I just wouldn't go out. If I was that afraid about it.
Anyway,
awful.
it is awful. Anyway, thanks a lot, Amy.
You're welcome, Karen.